Alright, here we go. We'll start in a couple minutes. Okay. Satnam, my name is Kaur, and Kaur Khalsa. Oops, my notes fell. Anyway, this is an experiment, so I'm organizing a series of classes through Periscope, just kind of 30-minute classes for simple, easy Kundalini yoga practices that help with the kind of stress and trauma of the time. And I've got myself up on my iPad so that if somebody sends a question, hopefully I can see it. But it's weird because there's a time delay and I can hear it playing here. So I'm going to turn down the volume all the way. But hopefully if someone comes in to chat, I can see it. All right. Anyway, so we'll see how this goes. And I'm going to post these videos on YouTube afterwards. I'm broadcasting from the living room of my house. I'm a little nervous talking to a camera, but that's okay. I think it's about 7:15. So I see one person is with me. Nice to see you. Okay, so we're going to tune in. We're going to start the class by tuning in. And we tune in with the Adi mantra, Om Namo Gurudev Namo. And Om means that creativity of the divine, that creative consciousness of the divine, and Namo means I bow to. And Gurudev is the teacher that moves through everything, and Namo means I bow to. So if you know this, great. If not, just follow along as best you can. Rub the palms of your hands together, come sitting up in a relaxed cross-legged posture. The spine is straight. And bring your hands in prayer pose, thumbs pressed against the sternum. You're going to inhale deeply and suspend the breath. And exhale. And inhale. Exhale. And inhale to begin. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Ad Gure Namah, Jagat Gure Namah, Sat Gure Namah, Sri Gurudev Namah. Ad Gure Namah, Jagat Gure Namah, Sat Gure Namah, Sri Gurudev Namah. Ad Gure Namah, Jagat Gure Namah, Sat Gure Namah, Sri Gurudev Namah. Inhale, suspend the breath. And exhale. And relax. Okay. So the series that we're doing in the winter and the spring of this year, I'm going to teach a class like this every other week, every other Thursday, pretty much roughly, for the next few months. And the key is to just give really simple techniques to help with the insanity of the time. So if you look at the news, if you listen to what's going on, it's getting more and more crazy out there. And the problem that we're dealing with is that there's a tremendous pressure on the human consciousness to evolve. The last 100 years or so, we've had this explosion of knowledge. When you think about the history of the earth and you think about the human race and how it's evolved, we've had thousands of years of, kind of living kind of in balance with nature, whether we meant to or not. But we've had this incredible explosion in technology and in knowledge the last 100 years, and we've got telescopes that can look into, see, millions of galaxies, and we have the ability to kind of investigate every corner of the earth, and we've got huge machines that can do incredibly destructive things in terms of strip mining or, digging for oil, and we're losing biodiversity, we're losing species, and there's a lot of really, really deep problems that are happening on a global level, and most people are in one level of crisis or another. The most severe crises that are out there are kind of the intense hunger, the poverty, the war that's happening. But even in so-called first world countries, a lot of people find themselves in crisis and in stress. And one thing that, the teachings I'm sharing come from Kundalini Yoga as taught by Yogi Bhajan. And one thing that Yogi Bhajan talked about, which I, really, really resonate with, is that the problem we're facing is a problem of human consciousness. That we've evolved all this knowledge of technology, but we haven't expanded our awareness to know how to handle that power appropriately, how to deal with things in balance, that on a certain level, the human brain is damaged. As a human being, your mind is meant to be incredibly sensitive. You are meant to know things through your sensitivity, not necessarily through logic. Logic is one avenue, scientific inquiry is one avenue for learning. But as a human being, you have a holistic sensitivity. And if your holistic sensitivity isn't working for you, you create duality in your life, you create pain in your life, you create tragedy in your life. And when you have all of these human beings collectively out of touch with their own sensitivity, that's where we get into really imbalanced behavior and really damaging behavior. And there's nothing happening in the earth that the human consciousness isn't the source of. It's not like there's a die-off of species because of some natural event. There's a die-off of species because of the way that the human consciousness is handling technology in a way that's very insensitive. There's nothing wrong with technology, but our insensitivity to what and how we're using technology is the problem. So in that respect, these classes are just meant to be really simple techniques, kind of taking us through a series of techniques to help us reinvest in and reinitialize and redevelop our own human sensitivity. And as we develop our human sensitivity, our awareness naturally expands. As our awareness expands, then we can kind of engage life with a new perspective that hopefully becomes, at least in our own lives, a source of healing and a source of peace. So today, and I'm not going to, these classes are going to be short. They're not going to be like an hour. They're not hour-long classes. I'm just going to talk for about 15 minutes. We're going to do a Kriya, and that's going to be, that'll be it. So what I want to talk today is about how to heal your pain. And I want to start by discussing the kind of trauma of the child. When we're born, we are infinitely sensitive beings. You know, we are this radiant light of the divine that's come into this tiny itty bitty body, and all we have is our sensitivity. All we have is this profound sensitivity, and we're absorbing, constantly absorbing the vibration of what's going on around us. We do experience trauma, you know, as we grow up. And trauma is those moments when our sensitivity and our authentic spirit are not respected. So that can be something very severe experience, like being abused, being beaten, being raped. You know, these are really severe experiences of our sovereignty, our authentic being, and our sensitivity not being respected. They can be more subtle experiences, someone putting us down, someone expecting us to act a certain way, and if we don't, we're bad. You know, the kind of ways that our sensitivity is damaged as children, there's a whole range of it, but it comes down to whether or not we're being spoken to respectfully, whether or not our own inner being is being given sovereignty and authenticity. And I wanted to share a couple quotes from Yogi Bhajan where he talks about this. Where he talks about the child, and it's really beautiful the way he talks about it. That child has 108 element sensory system. Try to see a child and figure it out. Understand it. You never gave the child its place. You never gave the child its discipline. You never gave the child its value. You never did a thing, and then you blame your children for going nutty. How many of you sat with your 1-year-old child in your lap and through the power of your meditation put that child to sleep? The child knows you. In his psyche, he wants to be important. He doesn't want to be played with. Force doesn't work with him. You say children don't know? Who has told you children don't know? Children know so much. There are 108 elements, and their mega power is 30 trillion per unit. You are 10 trillion cells with 3 living components, which means 30 trillion cells. So you are 30 trillion cells, and the child's psyche is 108 elements. Multiply that by the magnetic power, and a child has the power of the sun. As the sun's rays can spread to the universe, so the child's vibration in his psyche can study the whole situation better than you. So he's talking about like that the children are just really incredibly powerful, sensitive beings. And we don't recognize them that way. We don't treat them that way. And as children, we ourselves are not treated that way. We're not recognized that way. And another thing he says is that the way you address your children is so rude, so inhuman, so neurotic. You are so discourteous when speaking to your children. In spite of that fact, you think you are very loving parents. You never say to a child, please. You never call a child by his full name. You never treat him like a person or her like a person. You just treat them like puppies, and you expect them to learn how to live. Impossible. Now, he's not just talking about the way we teach children. He's talking about the way we've all been treated. As children, we're treated rudely. As children, our sensitivity isn't respected. And that trauma that we experience as children is something that we suffer through our whole lives. It's a pain that lives inside of us. It's a pain that calls out to be healed. It's a pain that we never can escape from. And from the trauma of the childhood, we end up recreating those situations where we're traumatized. We subconsciously provoke that trauma over and over again in our lives until we can address it and clear it. And so when we're talking about sort of restoring humanity to our sensitivity, to our consciousness, to our awareness, the very first place we have to begin is to honestly find a way to heal that trauma. And how do we go in to the child that was wounded and give that child a chance to come out of the woundedness and back to the authentic self? So who you are as a child wounded is the way you act out. But who you are as in your authenticity is your innocence. Your authentic self is a very innocent self. And the wounded, traumatized self is a very corrupt self. It's a very manipulative self. It's a very deceptive self. And so whether we're coming from our innocence or our deceptiveness, actually it's not a judgment about good or bad, although I know we like to go there. It's not about evil and good. I mean, although people can act in very evil ways, the reality is, are you coming from the innocent, authentic self, or are you coming from the wounded, traumatized self that uses corruption to try and cover itself, balance itself, heal itself, and deal with the pain? We're going to do a little kriya tonight to deal with it and to look at trauma. And so let's talk about how is it that we clear trauma through Kundalini Yoga. There's lots of therapies out there. There's lots of psychology out there. What we do with Kundalini Yoga is we use these kriyas to directly engage the nervous system to help the glands, the nervous system, and the patterns in the body to reinvent themselves, okay? And the way we deal with trauma with Kundalini Yoga is you've got to let the emotions move out and through you. Part of the problem of trauma is that we're never allowed to give voice to it. If someone is disrespectful to us and we get upset, it usually provokes the response of, shut up, I know what I'm talking about, how dare you speak to me that way, I'm your father, I'm your mother, yada, yada, yada. So the first thing is that the trauma happens, and then the expression that I've been hurt, this hurt me, you can't treat me this way, doesn't ever get to come forth. So the trauma has to express itself. It's got to have a voice. But then that voice needs to be supported to release. So a lot of ways we deal with trauma is we suppress the voice, or we go into loops where we keep re-expressing it. We go to certain groups or we go to therapy and we relive the trauma and we re-express the trauma, but no matter how many times we give voice to it, it doesn't ever move out. It doesn't ever leave the system. It stays as a pain inside of us that we're constantly churning. So when we do these kriyas, we're using mudra, we're using sound, the sacred sound current, as a way to help without it being an emotional verbal process, as a way to give the nervous system a chance to heal, to give voice, to express, and to move out. So when you're working with this kind of a kriya, you can expect emotions to come up. You can expect the visions to come up. You can expect the experience to come up. But you stay focused on the kriya, and the kriya is helping your nervous system give voice and then release. And over time, you can never forget what happened to you. You can never forget it. But you can have a different relationship to it. So the process of the kriya, the process of the sound current, is a process of allowing the pain to transform so that in time you can go back to that memory, and the memory will always be there. The memory that it hurt may always be there, but the pain of it, the pain will be shifted. The pain will be muted. The pain will be transformed into something compassion, understanding, balance. You can transform the vibration around the memory, though you can't ever get rid of the memory. And this is what a kriya like this one I'm about to teach you does. It uses pressure points to help, release where trauma is stored, and it asks it to replace it with a positive sound and a positive vibration. Okay. So this meditation, and we're going to do this meditation for 11 minutes. And hold on, I'm just checking. I know I have one person joining me. If you have any questions, you can type them in chat, and I think I'll see it. Yeah? All right, I'm just going to give it about 30 seconds to see if you have any questions. I'm not really entirely sure how to call up the chat here. I'm just learning all this technology stuff. Okay. All this technology stuff. All right. Well, let's just get into the kriya then. I'm going to shift and get my timer ready. Okay. So we're going to do this Kriya for 11 minutes, but you can do it for up to 33 minutes. And children can do it. It starts to start with 7 minutes. And this is a Kriya called the Jupiter Finger Chakra meditation. It's a meditation that was taught by Yogi Bhajan as a children's meditation, but it can be practiced by adolescents and adults. And it's really about helping to heal the past trauma. And anyone who's got past trauma can benefit from this practice. So what you do is you bring your left hand and you place it flat against your chest at the heart center. You're going to use your index finger to do the movement and the chant. And the way it works is you're going to touch the middle of your lower lip. You're going to touch the lower lip and chant Sa. You're going to touch the tip of the nose and chant Ta. So we're using the mantra Satanama. Satanama. This is the Panj Shabad. It's the sound current that balances the 5 elements. So we're going to do Sa at the lower lip, Ta at the tip of the nose, Na at the corner of the eye. So you want to touch the corner of the eye. And then Ma, you want to find the indent in your nose and about 3/4 of an inch above it. It's right below the forehead. You're not touching the forehead. You're touching this pressure point right below the forehead, about 3/4 of an inch above the indent of the nose. So it's Sa, Ta, Na, Ma. And then the second time, then you do it and you do the other eye. So you reverse it and you say Sa, Ta, Na, Ma. Sa, Ta, Na, Ma. Sa, Ta, Na, Ma. And you close your eyes, and the pace is about 4 or 5 seconds for, one round of Satanama. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to do this meditation together for 11 minutes. And just have an experience, okay? Sa, Ta, Na, Ma. 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 Sa, Ta, Na, sa, ta, na, ma, 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 sa, ta, na, ma. Keep going. Sa, ta, na, ma, 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 sa, ta, na, ma. 3 minutes. Left. Sa, ta, na, ma. 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 And inhale deeply. And bring your other hand to your heart and just feel your inner child. Feel that inner child in you and exhale. And inhale a second time and picture yourself as a child in your heart and just concentrate on that child. And exhale. And inhale one last time. And feel that child in your heart again. And bless that child that you were, that you are, that lives in you always. Bless it, bless it, bless it. And exhale. And relax. So that's one. You can feel for yourself what the effect of that kriya is. And you can do this kriya, like I said, anywhere from 3 minutes to 33 minutes. And if you have a child in your life that you want to share this kriya with, you can start them off with 7 minutes. It's never too early to learn these techniques. It's never too early to have a chance to do something like this for yourself or to help someone do something like this for themselves. So I hope you enjoyed tonight's class. And, I'm fiddling with, figuring out how to do this, and I'm going to post these videos to YouTube. Let's go ahead and close with the Long Time Sun song. In a long time, sun shine upon you. All love surround you, and the pure light within you guide your way on. May the long time sun shine upon you. All love surround you, and the pure light within you guide your way on. Guide your way on. Guide your way on. And inhale deeply. Sanam, thanks for joining. We'll do this again in 2 weeks. Sanam. Now I'm going to walk over to my camera and turn it off. Eventually I'll figure out how to use the remote.